Hi YouTube, this is my room. I've got my slash there. I just got some parts for that. I got the Traxxas red axle carriers, which you can't really see there, and the front caster blocks. I recently got the big bores by, the Power Strokes, and there's the RPM skid plate. But what I've really been after was my FLM chassis for the E-Maxx. So that's what I've got here. Let's get it open. It's a lot lighter than I thought, considering it's got a flux chassis and my E-Maxx chassis. But that is cool. And some hinge pins. So this is the FastLaneMachine Flux twin vertical plate chassis. It's the stock length. Pretty neat. Got some nice engravings there, FastLane, Flux, and hinge pins for the E-Maxx, nothing special. But the chassis, that's what I've been waiting for. Very lightweight considering what it's made out of and how thick it is. And my chassis braces, which is what I actually broke. They're somewhere over here. Snapped it clean in half there and put a fracture in the chassis. So yeah, these things are actually really sharp. They're quite pointy, but apart from that, everything looks really well made. Looks very precise. And it's not at all heavy, which is really good. And even more goodies that come with it. These are the two chassis braces. Again, they're very lightweight and they look awesome. Let's try and piece them together. That's basically it. So, as you can see, I have started putting together. I've got the gearbox in, the speed controller in, and I've just bolted up to the back bulkheads. Yeah, that's about it so far, but I'm kind of confused what's happening with this battery box, because the posts aren't screwing in far enough for the steering bell cranks. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So, I have the chassis braces on, I've got the back skid plate on and all of that. It was a bit awkward. I actually had to take off the back bulkhead from the chassis because the chassis braces had to go on first. But anyway, now it's all done. And I picked myself up some stock skid plates because I thought these aluminium ones which I had were pretty crap. They just bent. They were cheap ones, but you know, now I've got the RPM wear guards. These should be fine. So what I did is I painted that metallic blue. Kind of hard to see how good it actually is, but that kind of thing will match the blue on my truck. I've got like the blue shocks. Yes, they're Integy, but they look cool. And I've got a really cool looking blue Silverado body. So hopefully that'll all blend in nicely. So we're near completion. The front is on. So this is what it looks like. That's my hard to see in this colour light condition. But there's the blue, which matches my shocks. It's protected by my bumper, and hopefully it'll last a long time. Yeah, that's the basics of the chassis. Very, very solid. But I mean, it's a bit hard to put together without instructions. But anyone who is into their RC could probably figure it out. But it will take you a bit longer than normal if you're planning on, doing it quickly. It's not going to happen. So this is the finished product. That's my blue Traxxas logo in there. I think that looks pretty awesome. And the skid plates, I've had to modify them a bit. So what I did is I've taken the stock Traxxas one there, cable tied it in place because there were no screws through these holes, and then cut the RPM one in half so that holds this bit in, and then I might do a few cable ties around here just to keep that from getting pulled up. Got my batteries in, 2-cell hard cases. They've given me 6 pieces of Velcro. I'm using 1 across here and 2 to go the lengthways, so that's really solidly in, that's not going to come out. And the aerial mount, I decided to buy my own just because it's a bit neater, and that works again quite well. So yeah, now I'm gonna chuck on my body. I've never actually used this body just because it looks too good. That's my opinion, but yeah. So let's get all this in. First thing I notice is that the blue Traxxas logo looks pretty awesome with the blue paint. Another thing I do notice is that the body actually sits a fair bit lower higher compared with the chassis. I think that's just because the original chassis had a kind of slant to it on the edges. Nonetheless, it looks awesome and it drives awesome. Last time I drove it was like midnight, so I couldn't see much. But hopefully this weekend I'm going for a bash, except it's been raining, so I better get out there while it's not wet. Anyway, this is I guess you could say my review and my building of the chassis. So far it's pretty good, but took a fair bit of brain work figuring out some parts, what do I put where, why have I got, these strange spares. It came with some of this stuff. I don't know what I use it for. What do I use this thing for? This little, it's like a washer. Anyway, enough of that. That's my ride.